connecting from. To introduce myself, my name is Manjunatha Gali. I'm part of Citrix Ready team leading the desktop ecosystem. I'm your host for today's webinar, and today we have Energy Global with us. Thank you for attending the webinar today, and I would like to welcome you all to the Citrix Ready technical webinar series, where we showcase how Citrix and our partners have integrated to deliver valuable products and solutions to common problems faced by customers today. Along with me, I have the main speaker, Sam Beniha, Product Manager from Energy Global. Moving on to introduce Citrix Ready program. Citrix Ready is an end-to-end technology partner program that recommends third-party products, solutions, and services that demonstrates compatibility with Citrix products. Customers can quickly and easily find solutions recommended by Citrix in the Citrix Ready marketplace by navigating to citrixready.com/ready. For more information on the Citrix Ready program, you can navigate to citrix.com/partnerprogram/citrixready. Moving on, Citrix Ready program was launched in the year 2007. Citrix Ready program has 950 plus technology partners and with over 25,000 products verifications and over 20 lakh online catalog page views. Moving on, a brief introduction about Energy Global. Energy Global started as a Citrix as a testing consulting company in the year 2000, and in the year 2002, Energy Global became added value resellers of testing tools. And in the year 2005, Energy Global launched their first software testing product. And Energy Global are Citrix Ready partners since July 2013. Today, we are here to talk about the challenges in load testing Citrix apps and how Energy Global Solutions helps in overcoming them. At the end of this webinar, you will learn how Energy Global made Citrix application testing easy. So before we start the presentation, if you have any questions during the webinar, please use the question panel on the right-hand side, and we'll take your questions in the question and answer session. So without any further delay, please welcome our speaker, Sam Beniha, Product Manager from Energy Global. Hi, Sam.
Hi, thank you everyone for joining us today. We know that your time is valuable, so I promise you it is worth your time. So today I will show you how we made testing Citrix easy and actually even fun sometimes. I'm going to talk about challenges in load testing in general and the Energy Global solution and how we addressed those challenges. I would also talk about some customer successes, and then I will show you a live demo of the product, obviously a quick live demo just to give you an idea on how the product works. So as Manju said, we started as a testing consulting company back in 2000. Actually, this month is our anniversary month. Energy Global turned 15th in May. So as a testing company, we face a lot of numerous challenges on most of our projects. Most of them because of the applications today are interconnected. We use new and old technologies in different environments, and most importantly, we have a very short time frame to test. The test products are always last ones to start. So we do understand the challenges that you face, and the reason is that the tools we were using back then were all protocol-based. Protocol-based tools are complex. They do complex things. They need to monitor network packets, identify application objects, then measure the round trip. They need to keep up with protocol changes. We actually had clients that could not upgrade to latest releases of their applications because the testing tools were not ready to test the changes. And Citrix ICA makes it almost impossible to identify application objects because ICA is Smart Streaming Protocol. So we sat down and decided to find a way around the complexity. We wanted to simplify testing by understanding how users interact with the application. So, and we were familiar with image-based technology and tools, and especially with their limitations. So, but we were intrigued with their potential. So we decided to take image-based technology to the next level. We decided to remove the protocol complexity and dependencies, and to do that, the image base needed to behave like a user, meaning when a user interacts with the application, the user, he or she, will focus on an area of the screen. Wait until, for instance, the username field goes up, then move next to it and enter username, password, and so on and so forth. So the image base needed to handle unexpected events, meaning that if that image is not showing up where it was taken before in the same location, if something happened and it moved, the tool needed to move with it and handle accordingly, handle the change. Also, if the color changed, our tool needed to handle that as well and make sure that that's not going to stop it, or it will fail. If any changes in the image, it should handle them as well. It needed to act as a user and find different shapes. That's why we added tolerance in the tool and so on. So basically, the idea is that we needed it to be intelligent enough to handle any changes and act on them like a person would. And also, we have situations where pop-up windows that we are not expected, just the browser will show us a window saying, well, do you want it to turn autocomplete on or keep it on or off and whatnot. So that should be handled as well. And lastly, it needed to be fast and lightweight, because we didn't want our tool to use most of the resources and not let anything for the application and the test. Also, it needed to record information that the user sees, meaning we wanted to be able to see the test when it's running, being executed, capture important screenshots, especially if there's failure. And these screenshots are extremely valuable, especially if you have to show them to developers or your software vendors. And also, lastly, we wanted to measure the response time from the end user standpoint. It's what the user sees. That's what we wanted to measure the response time for. So in 2005, NRG Global launched Uploader, which is the application we wanted to use for our projects with our clients. Uploader is designed to be as natural and intuitive as possible. You will see in the live demo that we can create scripts fairly easily, that it doesn't use any programming language. You don't need to know C++ or C#. We will see that it is a list of actions that anybody can understand and change and modify and act on. So Uploader allows you to test Citrix applications from all the access points, from the VDI, web portal, client server applications, and you can test this all at the same time. We have clients that have different users using the application. The power user, they're going to use client server portion of it, and other user would use web portal, and others that would use Citrix, and we can simulate all that at the same time. And with Uploader, you can focus on what needs to be tested and not how. So over the last 10 years, over 1,000 companies have used this technology successfully. It's from across industries and technologies. Capgemini actually was looking for a load testing tool they could use for all their projects, regardless of the technology. So they selected Uploader as their tool of choice. They're using it on most of their projects now.
Sam,
yes.
do you mind elaborating your experience with Capgemini, how you actually worked and how it was beneficial to them?
Oh, well, it is still beneficial. Actually, that's a good question. They selected us after extensive searches for over 5 years ago, and they are using Uploader for all their testing needs, for internal needs, and for all their clients. And they use us for the projects, whether it's Citrix, .NET, Java, any of their projects. So they always have new projects. They have flexible licensing that you can move it, use it on the clouds, use it internally. They've been extremely successful with it, and they're actually extending their offering for testing services with Uploader. They're very happy with it, and we have a case study with them with EMA that talks exactly how they use it in our product. And HP Consulting, Valerie Cooper, project director at HP, tells us here that Uploader was instrumental in putting a key EMR application for North Carolina's Department of Health and Human Services into production. This too was a 5,000 user project. We did uncover a lot of issues, and they all were fixed before they went live into production without any hiccup. Once they went live, and it was a very successful project. And actually, the failure screenshots were extremely instrumental here and helpful, because when Uploader uncovered issues, they took the screenshots to the software vendor, and the software vendor would fix the problem, and then they would uncover other issues and so on until they got it all right, all working. So Uploader is certified for most major platforms and technologies and clouds as well. And without any more things, I want to show you a live demo of the product. So for that, I'm going to go on a cloud platform, and what I want to show you in this live demo of the product is how easy it is to create a script. And then I will show you, we will run a test, small test, but it will give you an idea on how that works. And we will look at some reports. So the scripting portion, which is the most important portion of the product, is we use the tool that's called Scenario Builder, because we build scripts. There's no, like I was saying earlier, there's no programming language needed or anything. So when we open the tool, it manages projects. We can create a new script, and let's say Citrix, for instance, a webinar. Now, and here it tells me, do you want to open a web application, start an application, or click on an icon, or do manual scripting? That's what we call built-in scenario, and obviously we have small videos to show you here how it works. I'm just going to click on an icon, and which basically what this does, it doesn't change the protocol, it doesn't tell us, it doesn't do anything different, it just creates the first action in the script so that for non-advanced user it takes them through that. Now I'm just going to click on the Citrix receiver icon here like a user would, and of course I can adjust the size of the image. It just remembers the last time I took an image with this size, that's why, just to make it really fast. Of course, when you take an image, you can accept it, you can add alternate image, an image with mouse over, it will just move it here and put it there. So, and it gives it a name. I can change it or keep that name, or I can say don't show me this anymore. So I can click here. The recorder is launched now. The recorder, it's not recording everything I do, it just records mouse clicks and images and any, so now what I'm talking is not going to record that. It's not going to wait all the time. It records what I'm doing, interacting. So I'll go here, double click on this icon. Then here we have this this wizard that tells me, well, the image you took before is not there anymore. Do you want to capture a new one so that if this screen takes a long time to load, it will wait for it before it moves and clicks here and starts typing the username and password. So now it's recording everything I'm typing. enter. I'm just going through the application, and again it's telling me this. Sometimes it can become annoying, just tell it don't show it anymore. That way for advanced users you don't have to. So now I'm going to click on this icon here. I'll do the same thing here, accept, double click. So like I'm saying, I am just going through my application and it's recording everything that I need to record for my script. It's there it is. Now the application is open. I hope that the screen is showing at the same time for everyone, the refresh screen. Sometimes that's not really the case. So now this one takes a little time because it's Citrix has the receiver has to initiate. And I'm just going to wait for the application to open and close it afterwards. That way I don't go through the whole process. So get this here and then close, then come here and log off and then close. Now that's it. I'm done. I recorded my script. My Citrix script is done. Obviously, now when I stop, I open Scenario Builder. I hope you can all see it very well. You see what I recorded is a list of actions. Find image. This is going to move mouse relative to where that image is. So if it moves, it will still click in the right place. This is the username password that I typed. I can obviously encrypt it. You can just click here and encrypt it. Now nobody can see my password. And it's, like I said, a language that everybody understands. You can see here that it has a timeout for the image. I know that this login image will take quite some time because Citrix has to initiate, so I'm just going to put, it's going to wait up to 60 seconds. It has a lot of advanced things. I can say look for the image in black and white, and for that I can see here it would look for it literally in black and white. So there's no gray or anything, so if there's any color change, it will do that. I can, if the image does not show, maybe if I'm on a page, I can automatically will do a page down, or it can be any function key that I can select that will do if the image didn't show up, and I can repeat it for a certain amount of time. I can wait for an image to disappear as well. So there's a lot of things that we can do with images, and obviously, most importantly, I can look for multiple images at the same time. I can tell it, for instance, if this is in a different language, in German, French, or whatever, I can add those images here as well, and it's going to look for them at the same time, and then act on whichever one it finds first. So once I'm done with this, well, obviously, before I go any further, just to show you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question here. Do you mind showcasing whether it handles any test conditional parameters here?
Sure. We can add parameters to the script as a CSV file, so we can put the parameters here, and we can see also in the controller how we can define the access method to those parameters, if it's sequential, random, one per user and whatnot. We can have multiple parameter files because we have the ability to have a script calling another script, so not only for the parameters, but if, for instance, if I'm going to log on to Citrix and have multiple applications I'm going to launch later, so I can create one script for just logging on to Citrix and other scripts that would handle looking up, for instance, a patient or medical records or retail records, or whatever it is. So I can create many scripts. That way, if anything changes, if just the screen, something changed in logon screen that I want to change, I'll just change one script, and it's very easy to do. Of course, at any given time, I can add transactions. I can say, well, from the time, for instance, I click on, and I can do this during the recording and after. I can just say log on, and then after here, I'll do the same thing and transaction, and I can put it also as log on. I'm just putting that in here. I don't even know if it belongs there or not, but anyways. Also, we can find images that are linked to other images. We can find text in an image, because we're going to say, well, what if I want to find a birthday and I'm looking for a month and I don't know, I don't want to take images for every single month. We can read, we have OCR technologies that can read text into an image and then act on it the same way, or wait for it for a certain amount of time. We have actually pretty advanced actions that you can use that can do everything the user can, meaning that you can add if conditions. What if this happens and stuff? What am I supposed to do? Loops, we can add switch and cases. We can manage variables, dates, unique variables for your tests. It will generate it for you as well. And the rendezvous points. So it can do a lot of advanced things.
Sam, I have a question here.
Yes.
So, how about handling the unexpected pop-up windows and failures? Does it handle it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So that would be in on failure section. We have an on failure section that you can add that's only triggered if the script fails or a portion of the script fails. So here we might want to undo what we did or clean up the environment for the next iteration for the test so that it doesn't start with where it left off. And also, if, like I was saying in the PowerPoint, if a pop-up window shows up that we don't know when it's going to happen after this step or this one or this, we don't know when. So we can just, in the on failure, say, look for an image in the window or look for a certain thing if the window is there, for instance, or a window, and click OK. And that's when you do that for on failure. If I add resume, that will go to wherever it failed, and it will continue from there. And it would not fail. I would not see a failure. I would not know anything about it. So as you can see here, it's also everything is visual. You can see what images we're looking for, how long we're going to wait for the image, up to 60 seconds. If there's any tolerance in there, what I'm acting on the image, what I'm doing. And one important thing before I move, because there's so many things I can talk about here, and I just have to be careful not to just talk about this too much so that we can see other things. One important thing is, for instance, you can say, you see here there's a certain hierarchy in the script, which means that these actions, move mouse, type, and so on, depend on this image. So if I go here and say continue on failure, that means if this image doesn't show up, maybe I want to do something else. If there's a continue on failure, it's not going to, the script will not fail, and it will go to the next action, which means it will skip all these actions that depend on this image. And that can be pretty powerful, and that can be also a type of if-then conditions and doing some advanced things. Now, we can play back the script that we recorded, and actually to do that, I'm just going to move the icon down here just to show that that it can find it even if it's not in the same location. You see, it went there, and as it's playing back, you can see at the bottom right of your screen that it's telling us what it's executing. So we try to make it as visual as possible, and so that we see that it's playing back the script. It's going through everything I did before, whether it changed or not. Now it's still gonna find what I recorded, and obviously if something comes up and it didn't find it, I can show you that you can go in the script to that action and change it, maybe change the amount of time it's gonna wait, and then play back from there. So we have a lot of things that are included in the script that would allow you to very easily troubleshoot anything that you need to troubleshoot, and see that it was very easily, and you see that we're done with the script. And it shows me that the action, this is what you're going to see in the reports, how long it took for the script and how long it took for the transaction. And you can see, for instance, as it's doing this, we can see here also it's taking images during the creation of the script to tell us, oh, I'm sorry here, so I didn't install this, because this is a server on the cloud. If I had, it would have told me where it clicked exactly. It would have found the image and show me where it clicked for that image. This is just a window feature that I didn't activate. So once I'm done with the script, I will send it to the controller, and it shows me here that I connected to this controller. We just click and send it, and that's the controller will receive this script. I'm not going to run this one anyways. I will show you how the controller works. So the uploader controller is web-based, and you can see it's very simple here. We made it easy so that you can see the main things that you're going to manage in your test. You're managing injectors, and for this menu you see it has its own menu here You can open the injector, see what's happening in it, define users, start the users. So if you have a large test, you can just click on here, and when you start the users, what that does, it's automatically launch our user manager. And that would open sessions, and these sessions are what simulates end user's desktop. So this is what I was saying earlier. You can see the tests running, and we will see that live, and that's what allows us to take images and see what's going on with the test and do everything literally from the front end. Of course, you can send actions to commands to the injectors and disconnect users and do everything they need to do from the centralized location. You can also manage backend monitors. We have Citrix agent that collects metrics, system metrics, and Citrix metrics while the test is running, so that you can correlate with number of ICA connections and CPU and so on, and see what's happening. And then you have a list of your tests, and you can see the execution plan. For instance, if you go to a test, you can see it's very simple. You give it a name, you give it the steady state time, it will calculate automatically a ramp-up time and how many users will be injected. If you want to initialize a test with a script and finalize at the end with another script, then you just select your injectors and your scenarios, how many users you want to run, if there's any delay, if you want to stop, if there's any failures. Here it calculates based on duration of the script. It will calculate automatically the number of iterations for you, which you can always overwrite. And this is what Manju was asking about earlier. It automatically looks at the list of all the parameters for the script, and it will show us the file name, the access rule that I can change, and I can also tell it, well, start from a line, and if I needed to use number of rows per scripts and so on. Also, if I had any rendezvous points, I will see them here. I will create the release policy, how many I want to release, and if there's any timeouts and so on. And lastly, you can define your SLA to receive alerts and see what's going on during your tests. Once you're done with that, you can actually, I'm not going to run a big test, I will run a smaller one. You can see your execution plan, and you can see for each user what injector they're going to run on, how many iterations, when they will start, after how much time after the test starts, and you can see even what parameters in the file, what lines in the CSV. This is just, we open Citrix, Notepad through Citrix in this one, and we'll type different values in Notepad during the test. So, and after that, once you're done with that, you can actually, I don't want to run this big one, I'm going to run the small test here. You just select your test and say run. So, and you can see here, this can be launched from other applications. We have clients that launch this from other products like Jenkins and so on. Just they run it with their DevOps. Nightly they run tests, so they can just grab a test link for this test plan and run it from other plans, other products. And here I can add saying this is on May 5th. For instance, this is pretty valuable to know when the test was run, let's say after, let's say, patch 1, 2, 3, so that you know what value, so you can compare later with other tests that you ran. So here it's preparing the tests, and then it will it'll assign the variables, send the commands to all the connected R users. By the way, we call them R users because they are real users in the sense that they interact with the desktop, in the sense that they behave like a real user. So we will see here, and I'll go back to the test now. It's been initiated. We'll go back here in a minute. I just wanted to show you that we will start seeing very quickly users starting the test, and we will see them executing the test as it's happening. So you see that all my users went here to waiting state because we're waiting for results to come back from them to tell us now they interact back with the controller saying that 2 of them are running, and as if I see here some of them are running, I can, like I said, I can just go here and I see that these users are already starting. I can expand any one of them, and at any given time, I'll see my tests actually being executed. So, and I can, any one of them, I can go back and see any, here they starting one at a time, and like I said, I can open any one of them and see what's going on. So as it's being executed. Now, we're going to let it execute, and I want to show you, and actually from here, from the injector, you can also see for each one of them, see there's a feedback. You don't have to go and see exactly what's happening. You can see where we are, what transaction, if there's any delay, what delay calculated, and if it was successful. If there's a failure, we will see a screenshot here, and I will open it. And obviously, that's what I want to show you on other tests. I will let this one run, and then I'm going to go to other reports, and you will see the list of executions, test runs that I had before, and I can select any one of them and just go and see the reports for that test, for instance. Simple reports. You can see graphs here. You see the list of all your scripts that we have in tests. We have our users, the failures, the CPU. We can zoom in on any portion of our test by just going, for instance, here and getting more detail, and then go further and see what's going on. If I want to zoom in more on what's going on, I can change the graph obviously to stack, to bar chart, and then stack it. It gives me a good idea on what happened during my test. I can see if I go and analyze selected tests, for instance, and I expand it a little bit. This one is showing me the actual test. Let me go to analyze the other tests, for instance. I'll just go to dashboard here, and I can create dashboards and see them after every test. So, and I can put just graphs in here that I can open a new window, save an image, or email someone, and I can see here if I had any failures. I can, like I said, how many of them, 4 of them failed on this step, and I can see exactly what the step is. These ones had access denied. It shows me what step in my script. After 90 seconds, you would look in for the login button. It didn't see it because of this, obviously. And I can also look at another one just quickly here. What does this one have? This one has a black screen. Maybe it's this one actually that I want to show that it's interesting. Yes, this one is more interesting. We see that the task you're trying to do can't be completed because remote desktop services is busy. So it could not launch. And these can be valuable to see with the configuration for remote desktop licenses and things like that, and see what's going on. So we can really, there are actionable results that and screenshots and so on. So and of course, as my test is running, I'm getting graphs and seeing what's going on, and I can also zoom in and do all those things, and I can still see here what's going on with my test. So I think I'm going to hand it over. Well, I go back. No, before I do that, because there's so many things to talk about here for the product. The idea is to give you. One important thing. I just wanted to show you the type of graphs that of reports that we have, which are the common reports. Meaning, we can get. I'll show you here. I'll go back to the same test to show you the reports for that one, just to give you a quick idea here, because I didn't want to use too much of your time. We have the basic reports, and again, you would see this link to export the reports as well. If we look at the load summary, you will see here that for each scenario, if each sub-scenario, if I have any sub-scenarios, each transaction, we have a minimum value for the execution, the average response time, maximum response time, of course, the standard deviation, 90th percentile, how many users, and how many failures, if there's any failures. Here there's a lot of failures, and these ones don't have any failures. So you can see exactly what's happening with your test and export it to CSV or PDF files. One of my favorite reports is the simplest one, which actually exports everything from the test, and I don't have Excel installed here, but I want to show you, give you an idea of just kind of data that you have there. You get for every injector, every R user, the scripts that was run, the type, if it's a subscript or transaction, the iteration, total iterations, when that user started, when it ended that transaction or that script, if there's any delay, and if there's any error message. And this can be important also in other reporting tool to have more advanced reporting if need be. We have enough reporting data, but if you wish to do more your own reporting, you can do that as well. So now I'm going to go back to the demo quickly, to the PowerPoint, just to say that we have 3 main products that are based on the same technology, image-based, advanced image-based technology. We have 2 for pre-production, which are Uploader for load testing, load and performance testing, AppVerify for regression testing, which allows you to run continuous testing, continuous delivery, and AppsWatch is designed for application monitoring. We have a lot of clients that runs in production environment, obviously, to test your applications continuously and alert you and create SLA reports and let you know if there's any issue, and also it's very powerful. After the upgrade, you can see if there's any slowness or any enhancement in the response time. And this is our contact information. You're welcome to go to our website or call us or send us email if you'd like to know more about our products and services. And I think I can hand it over to Manju for questions, if you have any questions.
Hey, thank you so much, Sam. I should appreciate you, and that was a wonderful and very detailed presentation.
Thank you.
And
You're welcome.
With that said, I think we can probably move to a question and answer session now. We got few questions from attendees. The first question is, how does it handle testing from cloud?
Well, it's the same way it handles it in your environment, and actually it is pretty used in the cloud environments because you don't need to install any agent on any of your servers. It's all done from the front end. So if your users are accessing the application from the cloud, you do the test the same way, and you can create multiple injectors. It's really pretty powerful in the sense that if the injectors change IP addresses or do any of those things, the technical things, it handles them and it will update itself, it will update its configuration file. And you just have to, and we have actually with Amazon, with Azure, we have instances that already have our images with our products already installed. You just have to turn it on, everything is installed, you start creating the scripts the same way I showed you.
Okay, great. So the second question is about the protocols. The question is, are there plugins for different protocols?
No, there's no plugins or wrappers at all, because everything is from the end user standpoint. So if a user can see the application, can see certain things, honestly our products don't know if it's testing a .NET application, C# or Citrix. It's all image-based and OCR and mouse moves and action, and everything is from the front end. It's literally like having a person or many users and telling them this is what, and actually a lot of businesses do this even today. When they try to do the test, they get a certain number of users in the CRP room, and they just say, okay, these are the test scripts, and just go through them and tell us what you see. And that's basically, except that it's better organized and more efficient doing it with automated tool. But the idea is the same. The whole technology is how it's going to behave as a person, as an end user. That's where our technology lies. No protocols, no plugins.
Okay, great. So next question is, how do you test client-server applications with Citrix front-end?
Well, it's the same way we test Citrix that we saw actually in my live demo. The medical application that I opened is a client-server application. So it is published in the Citrix environment, and I could have had another script that goes directly to the client-server at the same time, and then I would have one injector, for instance, that's launching, going to the application from Citrix, and the other one going to it directly as launching the client and going as a client server. That's and that's the beauty. That's what I was talking about earlier. When your testers are creating the scripts for Citrix or for the client server application or for a web application, the logic is exactly the same. And the creation of the script, the whole process is literally the same. There's no difference whatsoever.
Okay. So the next question is it possible to use your solution without Citrix? Example,
yes, absolutely, yes. So you can use it, and we have clients, a lot of clients that use it, like I was saying, with Java, with .NET, with C#. It doesn't matter what protocol or we're talking about Citrix a lot today because nobody really can do Citrix the way we can, but the same logic applies to any type of application, any environment really, and it works because again it's all just from the end user, and because it is application neutral.
Okay, great. So I believe the next question is very easy. Probably we might have already answered it. So the question is, what reports or graphs are available for showing the results?
Well, it's actually a very good question because there are a lot of them, and I did not go through them through all of the type of reports. But basically, in a nutshell, we have reports that would show you everything about the response time for all your scripts, all your transactions for the scripts by number of iterations, and you can correlate that with the number of users, obviously, and the failures. And if you have any back-end monitors, if you run with the, and by the way, you can import your own metrics after the test is done if you have any other tools that you want to use for back-end monitors or just for other queries that you run against your database that we don't have in the test in the tool. You can import your metrics and you can correlate that and you can create widgets, you can create dashboards, and every time you run a test it will automatically use the created widgets and dashboards and will plug in the results, and you can see all your results and data in the graphs. And there's a lot of I didn't go through a lot of things where you can troubleshoot if there's any issues. You can select what you want to graph and then zoom in on specific time and see what's happening. You can even go to see processes and see what the processes were using at that time, if you wanted to do that.
Okay, great. So the next question is about, do we need to install your application on servers as well?
Well, we recommend to install the application on Windows Server, whether 2008 or 2012, because that way you can simulate multiple users from the same server. We use the terminal server technology to simulate the end user's desktop. Now, we have very few clients that use it directly on the desktop because they have a lot of desktops, and in that case you will simulate one user per desktop, and you can run the test with one user on the desktop, and it's all managed from a centralized location anyways from the controller. But the most common usage is on Windows servers and you can have for many injectors and simulate multiple loads, and you can actually have those injectors from multiple locations. Meaning, if you have branches all over the world or all over the United States, you can put, as long as the injector is running from that location, you can see what type of response time they would have from that location and get that all in uploader controller all in one centralized location to get your graphs and reports. And then you can analyze based on where the load is coming from.
Okay, great. So Sam, we'll give 2 minutes of time to see if attendees have any more questions. So we'll wait for 2 minutes. So meanwhile, I have few questions from attendees asking whether we get the recording of this webinar and whether we get the slides of this webinar. Yes, to answer that question, yes. To all attendees, whoever attended this webinar and whoever registered for this webinar, they get the recording of this webinar. So, and you can also probably contact Sam or Energy Global directly for any questions for any offers that they have.
Absolutely, we'll be very happy to help you install it in your environment and show you how it works and answer any questions that you might have about the product. It's really simple. And that's why we encourage you to reach out to us and ask us to help you run your first tests. It's easier for us than doing a demo. I mean, obviously you know how the product works, but we can do it in your environment. You can see it just using web meetings. You can see it working with your own applications, your own data.
Okay. So with that said, I have one question from attendee here. He's asking about the pricing. Probably Sam, you can take it offline. You can directly contact them via email or via phone, and you can discuss personally with them.
Absolutely. Just to say, it is based on a number of concurrent users that you want to simulate. We have lease pricing, we have purchase pricing, and we are at a fraction of the cost to other compared to other leading solutions out there. And I would be very happy to go over that with anybody who's interested in our pricing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. So with that said, we don't have any more questions, and we are about to end today's webinar. So before I end the webinar, I want to take a moment and thank you, our speaker Sam and his team from Energy Global, for making this wonderful presentation and sharing the knowledge with us.
You're very welcome, and thank you everybody for attending this webinar.
Yeah, and at last, I want to thank you all for attending that webinar today in the Citrix Ready Technical Webinar Series, and this concludes our broadcast. Thank you all.
Thank you.